Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we proudly provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. This is the place to be if you are interested in learning how to listen at an elevated level. We have incredible shows from people from all over the world, just giving their time and their energy and their effort to leave a legacy of education. Our show today is A Woman's Prerogative. We want to say thank you to E360 TV for distributing our content across all of their platforms. And thank you to our loyal followers on all of our platforms as well. We really couldn't be here without you. So many thanks. All right, A Woman's Prerogative. Today, our topic is our favorite places to visit. So this is a topic that I will explore with the star of our show. Her name is Mariska, and she was formerly from New Zealand and now from Australia and originally from South Africa. And who knows where else she's been. We'll find out because we're talking about places we visit. So Mariska is an expert on our Talking Heads platform, and she delivers outstanding content once a month. We'll get her to tell us when her next one is. And of course, she's been doing this show with me and our other group of wonderful women. I think we've been doing this for, 4 years. I don't know, we're going to find out. So she's a transformation and leadership expert as well. She has many certifications. And so if you're looking for someone who can help you as a leader, help you guide teams, she is the person who will take you to the next step. Let's bring out this game changer, Mariska Preez.
Hello, and thank you for having me, and welcome back to our loyal watchers and viewers, because I know that we've got the YouTube Silver Award, is it?
I'll bring it up. It's the Silver Creator Award. So there it is up in the corner, and that's for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. And you know, Mariska, what I wasn't aware of about this is I go around and when I meet people, I just ask them to take out their phone and do you have YouTube? Okay, can you subscribe? And a number of times people have their own platforms and they look and they go, 101,000 or two. So now it's 103,000. And they're like, that's unbelievable. So from my understanding, my research, less than 1% of all YouTube channels have over 100,000 subscribers. So that's pretty cool. And on our second channel, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, we now have 35,000 subscribers. So that doesn't include, like, I just was on Instagram. And so after these shows, we actually edit them and we cut them into short clips. And one of them had several thousand just from the other day. One of ours had a lot of views on it as well. So it's exciting because we're on a lot of platforms and I'm not totaling up all of the different platforms. I'm just using the YouTube numbers. And then, of course, when we're distributed by E360 and Zizzle TV, I'm not tracking those numbers either. So it's kind of cool.
So, yes, hello to everybody that's returning. Thank you. And, of course, if you are new to the platform, we are glad that you are joining us.
And by the way, before we get into the topic, this particular show, A Woman's Prerogative, at the whole conceptual level, has taken a number of twists and turns over the years. And how long have we been doing this? Do you know?
That's a good question. I think we started off with me, you, and Caroline, maybe a couple of other ladies that came and went over the time.
Janetta.
Yes, Janetta was there for quite some time.
Madeline.
Madeline as well.
Dr. Justina.
Dr. Justina. There was another 2 or 3. We had quite a few different guests as well.
Dr. Richardson. What is her first name? It's with a D. We had her. She was from the UK. Yeah, so I don't know if it was 3 years ago, but it's been a while, and it was one show, and then we broke it up into 2 shows. So now Caroline with Reverend Lydia, they do an episode before ours on the same day. So we broadcast the shows about 5 hours apart.
Yes. And the main reason for that is just because, well, I'm sitting in Australia, and the UK has got, we sort of on the opposite sides of the planet. So if they're sleeping, I'm awake. And if I'm sleeping, they are awake. So
yes.
Fine, very well.
And we don't want people getting up in the middle of the night to do shows. We actually have had guests from Australia. I remember the guy said, and I forget what he did for a living, but it was 3 a.m. his time, and he was doing a show. And I thought, wow, that's real dedication, because I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. to do a show.
Yes, there's being in Australia, having interactions with loads of people in the US. It is a bit of a problem, especially when you do trainings and shows and stuff like that. Now, I don't know about you guys, but 3 o'clock in the morning, my brain doesn't want to work well.
Well, you know what else I meant to ask you? So we have a team member who is in China, in Macau, China. And so I think that she might be on a similar time frame as you, because let's say 10 at night for me is 10 in the morning for her, and then opposite.
Yes, so she would be a lot closer to what I am. In all likelihood, her earlier in her day would be a little bit later in my day. So,
yeah.
Yes, I think that might work out well.
Yeah, exactly. She's adorable too. She's an award-winning illustrator, and she makes all these really cool illustrations. And she's written over 100 books, and she's won all kinds of awards. She submitted her animations for Oscars, so she hasn't won yet, but I'm sure one day she will.
Oh, definitely somebody that I would love to talk to. Ooh,
yeah,
that sounds so.
For sure.
And I'm just yes, my brain is going lovely places at the moment.
Well, I'll make an introduction for you with her. I'm trying to see if we still have her show graphic up here. I don't see it. No, we don't have it up here. So anyway, before we get into the topic, as I was mentioning, we're on so many different platforms, and we always have new people who are coming to visit us. And so I always feel it's important that we let people know what is the value that we can bring to people. So for somebody who's new, or maybe somebody who's even coming back and they're thinking, I really want to learn more about what's going on here, what would you share with them about the main value that you can bring to people?
Well, whether you are watching this show or whether you are jumping over to Talking Heads, where you will also find me, where I present on leadership-specific topics, you will also, you will always be entertained, we hope. We try our best, as well as educated in one or other shape or form. On the Talking Head show, of course, the value that you will get there is it is very focused training. So there's specific topics that we look at and work through within that space. And not only within leadership, that's something that's very close to my heart and people that I work with on a daily basis, but you will also find other Talking Heads topics within that space that might be of interest to you. And then, of course, a Women's Prerogative or any of our other shows, I am sure you will find loads and loads of valuable resources, whether this be different perspectives, ways of thinking, good nuggets, or things to try out in life in general. there is so many different things on this platform, and all of it is curated in a way to help you to be a better you within a learning and positive environment. And Dr. Jacalyn, I think for me, that's one of the main things about this platform is we are really on a platform that uplifts not only the people on the platform itself, but also the people that we serve. And that is everybody that's watching or listening to the show. So that, I would say, is the biggest value that I think you can get from, well, participating and being part of this wonderful thing that Dr. Jacalyn has brought into creation for us.
Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. And, I really agree from just a humble perspective. I love when I'm producing shows or even hosting shows because I get to hear various viewpoints and I get to learn some things. Yesterday, I actually did a show. I host one show by myself now. I limited it to one because I love doing all the other things behind the scenes, but it's called Creating a World of Possibilities. And I actually interviewed a beautiful woman who takes solid core classes. I'm obsessed with solid core. So she also takes solid core classes, but she's a gymnastics coach and she graduated with her degree and she's looking to get into medical sales. So it was kind of cool that it's a person that I've actually been in solid core with. And then she was on the show and she probably lives nearby, but we did it virtually. So that was a really cool connection, definitely. And then today I had lunch with one of our team members. I'm not going to say who, but I had lunch with him and we talked about some various things for the platform. So it's kind of nice that we have this global presence. And yet at the same time, I'm starting to really make some inroads in the local presence in case we actually get a studio in person. I looked at a few places to have an in-person studio. So it would still be virtual, but also people could come in to a studio and we could be in person. So that was fun. So I'm looking into that, but that's a little bit more in the future because I looked at it once already and it's very cost prohibitive. So that's in the future to-do list.
It reminds me of training that I went through not so long ago, where the person mentioned something about priorities. So priority, the word itself, is Latin origin, as far as I remember, and it actually means first. Somewhere in the English language, we decided that priority doesn't mean first, but it means important. So technically speaking, that priority list only has one thing on it, the thing that's first. So Dr. Jacalyn, it is on the list, not necessarily currently a priority.
But really, it's important to have priorities because I think even as business owners, there's so many little carrots that get dangled in front of us, and it's good to explore. Like I really believe to be open in various things, but I know even for myself, I did a book signing that was really a big event with a tent and I have all this equipment now. And then I'm looking at doing retreats and now we've got clothing. And so there's only so many places I can really put my energy and be effective. So the more things that are automated, I think the better, because there are certain things like this person I was with today, we were talking about doing an event together for maybe 100 or 200 people next year. And so that's something that, when we were on A Better You, we looked at that and there's a lot involved with that. So anyway, it's picking and choosing where your priorities are and how can you bring the most value to your clients?
Yes. And luckily, we cannot automate you. So we are not getting Dr. Jacalyn as a virtual AI assistant. We are actually having the real you on the screen. So that's good.
Yes, definitely. So you came up with this topic, our favorite places to visit. And I think, we talked about something similar in our last episode, but I think that this is a little bit different because it doesn't mean that it's a place you have to travel to. It can be, maybe it's a dream of a place that you want to visit, or like for me, the first thing that comes up is I love going to Solidcore. I love to visit Solidcore. And again, I'm not a paid spokesperson. I guess I keep thinking the more I say that someone will call and go, hello, would you like to be a brand ambassador? But that's a place that I like to go. I like to go there every day. So I think this is a wide topic that we can have a lot of fun with.
Yes. And it's something that last year during training, they asked the participants as part of a get to know each other exercise. So understanding where it is, places that we like to visit. And for some people, it was very specific places. So they want to go to very specific places. And for other people, it's more of a sense of a place or a general place of beingness. So it was a very interesting discussion, even within that space, to find out how people thought about the favorite places to visit. And I had a vague suspicion Solidcore would come up. And I'm sure that's not the only place, Dr. Jacalyn, although if they offered you a bed to sleep there forever, would you take it?
No, I definitely wouldn't take it. I definitely wouldn't take it. I can tell you a place that I've been that I'd like to go to, but I'm sure it's absolutely worth it, but it's very cost prohibitive. And I went there twice actually, and it's the Ritz in Paris. So it's not the Ritz-Carlton, but it's the Ritz Hotel that was where Princess Diana was before she left and met her ultimate fate. And it's quite an experience. It really is. And so knowing that I'm going to Paris, I looked into it, and the rooms were, I'm going to say, because I had to translate from, I don't know if it was in euros or francs or whatever it was, but it started, I believe, around $4,000 a night. So
Okay.
I will not be staying there. And you can't, like, they have a beautiful bar. I think it's called the Hemingway Bar. And then my recollection is that when you walk down this one hallway, they have these beautiful showcases of clothing and jewelry and bags and shoes. And the way that the light hits it, it looks like it's something out of a fairy tale. It's like a very long hallway with all these things. And the food was amazing. So I'm really grateful that I did get to go there. So that's one place I would love to visit, but I will not be going there.
Well, speaking of places loving to visit, that does sound like something that would be on the bucket list, so to speak, to go and visit, even if you have to save up for one night. Or who knows, you might win the lottery or just not have a problem with that type of price tag whatsoever, and then go and visit. A place that, well, it's not really a place, it's a train. So there's a train, and now I'm speaking under correction because I saw this train on a program that they did about it. And as far as I remember, it runs between somewhere in Switzerland, I think it is, or somewhere in Germany. It's a very, very old train. And you have sleeping compartments and you have the dinner compartments, and it's restored to pristine condition. And of course, when you go and you travel on said train, again, Dr. Jacalyn, as you mentioned, cost might be fairly high there. And it's an experience, right? So you have this whole experience of the travel and train, the type of services that they would have had way back when. All of it is kept as authentic as possible to that specific rail as it used to be. And from our, I think it was 2 conversations ago that we had on the show, you mentioned air travel and it always being a fancy affair. And that got me thinking about that train, because I don't know if you've ever noticed all the older movies where they go and they travel somewhere. It is a fancy affair. No matter what they did, they dressed up, they had the hats and the neat clothings and all the fancy things that they take with them, and all the trunks. Have you ever seen all of the old trunks that you get? You can actually hang your clothing and close the trunk without anything wrinkling. So good. So good. So I would love to go on that train for a trip up and down, preferably, so I don't have to fly back in a very boring airplane afterwards.
Trains are fun. I do love trains. You get to go from one place to the other, and you don't have to do anything per se about getting there, and you can walk around and you can see things. That's what I think is so nice. Mm-hmm. It's also nice that we are taking a break now, and we're going to honor one of our sponsors today. So today we're going to look at Steve Klein Art. And Steve Klein lives in the Netherlands, and he had something really traumatic happen to him. We'll hear his story. And I actually own several pieces of his art. So let's take a look. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Steve Klein Art at steveklein.art.
My name is Steve Klein, born Manchester, England, 1953. My quest in my lifetime is to create artwork from my soul and the deepness within my wildest dreams and fantasies. In 2012, my heart stopped when I was given too much anesthetic for a minor knee operation, and this near-death experience took me to another multi-dimensional world, an out-of-body experience, and I was given the gift of being blessed by an overwhelming, burning passion to become, for the very first time in my life, an artist with an eternal, passionate desire to bring my art, which I've named multidimensional, subliminal, freeform art, to the world. As only 3% recover from what I experienced, and now in my golden years want to release my cosmic, vital energy through my art to allow people to be a part of my cosmic dance.
To learn more, email roccogoodwine@gmail.com. For VIP pricing, mention USA Global TV and Radio. Thank you to Steve Klein Art, and welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Thank you. We love you. And I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. We are back here on A Woman's Prerogative. Let's welcome the star of our show, Mariska. Welcome back.
Hello.
How'd you like that art?
I love his art, and as you mentioned, the Netherlands, and as he was talking through his experience that he had, what I was wondering is, if you had one place that you would love to go and visit on this planet before this episode of your experience as a soul and a being comes to a conclusion, where would that be?
I have two things that pop up in my mind right away. One of them is Mallorca, the island of Mallorca, because Roland Friedel, one of our team members, he lived there for about 14 years. And when he first started with us, he lived in this magnificent home that was a yoga retreat, and there were animals walking in and out, and it was just stunning. And so I know he told me there are a number of celebrities who have places there, and I looked it up and it looks beautiful. So that's the first place. And the second place is Australia. I've always wanted to go to Australia because, you know, you see a lot of movies are filmed there. And even some of the movie stars, I think Nicole Kidman and her husband, Keith Urban, I think they have a place there. And it looks outstanding. I mean, you were talking about snakes in one of the other episodes. I don't like that per se. I'd have to be in a snake-free zone.
Not sure whether we have any.
How about in a hotel? But like in a high rise?
Yeah, you should be safe in a hotel in a high rise. In the city in general, I think would be fine.
Well, just a quick story. I was on vacation with my ex-husband. This is a very long time ago. And we were at some, I think it was a Caribbean location or something, or maybe it was, I don't know. I think it was the Caribbean. And anyway, we were in this hotel, and a lot of these hotels where it's warm, they have the lobby is sort of an open air lobby. And then there's a lot of opportunity for things to come in. So we were getting settled in our room. I think we'd already checked in and unpacked everything. And I think we went to dinner and we came back. And so we were lying down to go to sleep. And I heard this like click, 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 click. And it wasn't my nails. And I thought, what the heck is that? Actually, the lights were out. We were going to sleep. So I turned the light on and I was like, there's something in here. So we finally look around, and behind the bed is this giant crab. And I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they have like their eyes, they're on sticks, and they move sideways, and it goes click, 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 because I guess it was freaking out. So my ex-husband at the time, my husband, he went down and talked to the manager. I think it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. He's like, my wife is not having this. You have to move us to a different room. But the point is, the thing got in somehow. So I don't know if it crawled up, scaled up the side of the building, or it hopped in on an elevator. So I'm sure the snakes can get in as well.
I'm not sure who had the bigger fright, you or the crab.
Did you ever see their eyes are on sticks? They're like
yes. And I'm imagining this isn't a small crab. This was
it was a big crab.
Yeah.
It was big, and I'm sure it was scared, but I really did not want it to be there. And I remember I actually went on a company trip when I was in corporate to Panama. And I remember it was a program I had sold, and my clients were having their incentive trip for this pharmaceutical company. So I remember I decided to go out for a run, because you could only exercise before the participants were, getting up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the sun was just rising, and the beach wasn't that long. It kind of went in this half moon shape. So I'm out running, and in front of me, I see these giant crabs. And I'm thinking, there's nowhere for me to go. I got to turn around, because they move sideways. Like they're so quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, nah, I'm not even going there. So I just turned around, and I kept looking behind me. I was like, I hope it's not coming after me. But if it is, it's running sideways. So it'll probably take longer. Are you afraid of crabs?
I'm not sure whether being chased by a crab would be fun. I can say that crab, other than eating a crab, which I know you don't do.
Yeah.
Have I ever encountered crabs in the wild in general? I think once on the beach, but also, again, not big ones. It's like about this big. So small, little, tiny ones, they're fine. I can outrun them.
Yes.
That's all good. I'm not sure what I would do with a big one. But when you spoke about the crab, sort of looking at you sleeping peacefully, or trying to at least sleep peacefully, it reminded me of a time when we went to the Karoo with the kids, and we had an Airbnb on a farm. Now, of course, a farm, we used to farms, plus any animals can come in. Now it's the Karoo. It is a semi-desert. So you don't expect frogs. So during this evening, we also wound down for the night, got everything ready, went to bed, and it wasn't long. And then one of the twins came to wake us up. Like, there's a sound in their bedroom. Like, what sound? Oh no, they can't really explain it. It's just, there's a sound. And we weren't too sure what it was. So went there, tried to find whatever it might be, didn't find anything. Great, said, no, well, we can't find it, so difficult to solve the problem if we can't find the thing. Went back to bed. The next morning, God said frog, and it climbed into the wardrobe. Now, I don't know how much you know about frogs, but they have a tendency to be able to flatten themselves quite a bit. So there wasn't a lot of space between the wardrobe door and the bottom of the wardrobes, one of these loose standing wardrobes. But it actually squeezed itself in there and it went and hid. Apparently was a nice cozy sleep it had, and then decided to climb out again. And that's when we found it. Fairly big frog. So yes, that reminded me of the strange, interesting sounds that we might find in our favorite or not so favorite places.
And that's interesting that you said frogs, they smash themselves down.
Yeah, they pull their bodies very flat. So they sort of go on a, like you would, if you think about yourself, right? Leopard crawling. So crawling on your elbows, they go all flat. And then they would squeeze themselves underneath places and spaces that you won't think that they would get into, but they do.
Huh, I didn't know that. I've got to put them on the list of things I'm afraid of now too.
Well, typically frogs won't be able to do anything to you except if it is a poisonous one.
Right. Can't they stick their tongue out at you or something?
Well, they stick their tongue out to catch things, but normally the poisonous frogs, as far as I'm aware, aren't poisonous they won't bite you. It's more they're poisonous because of their skin. So if you touch them, that's how they distribute their poison. And it's more for their own protection, so that other stuff don't eat them. So if you don't touch the frog, you should be fine.
Well, when Pet Psychic Amina was on with us, she retired, I think, in the beginning of the year. But we did a lot of shows, coexistence and sustainability, and we talked a lot about all creatures having a reason to be here and not killing anything. And so for part of the journey that I had with her, I was in Florida with those huge iguanas. And we talked about, and actually there was a snake that came into the garage. I had one of those machines I bought from my dad. It's called a gazelle. Do you remember the gazelle? Like it folds up, you can put it underneath your bed, but it has arms that go back and forth and the legs. It's actually a really good workout. So I brought it out of it was in the garage and I brought it out, but kept it in the garage. And I thought, I'm going to put Netflix on and I'm going to open the garage door just a little because I don't want the neighbors walking around seeing me. And I was gazelling it up and all of a sudden something came in and it was a snake. And I personally have never seen a snake in action. I've seen them in the zoo, in various places, but it stood up on its whatever, and it was way high up. And I was like, I looked at it. I was really scared. But I remember Amin always said, don't be afraid because you give off these, I don't know, some kind of, they know when you're afraid. So I was still doing my gazelle. And I said to it, you do not belong in here. This is not where you should be. And I want you to get out. I want you to leave. And it was up on the things, whatever, on the bottom part of its body. And I thought, I am going to freak out. Like I am going to completely and totally lose it. And she'd also said to always have a broom or sticks to keep whatever creature, keep you and it apart. But it was on the other side of the garage where this snake was. So it looked at me and then it left. And I immediately closed the garage door. I went in the house and I started screaming. I locked the door. And so I said, my sister happened to be there. And I'm like, I am not going out of this house again. Like, that is it. I am done. And she went out and she found it and she shooed it away into somebody else's thing. It's just like, no snakes, please.
Well, it's you had a good encounter with the snake and you and the snake evidently understood each other because it was like, well, thank you, hello, and then I will leave, seeing as you don't want my company.
Well, you know what, Mariska, what else is interesting? I remember my mom and I and our family, we went to, where did we go? want to say we went to St. Thomas or Puerto Rico, one of those. And there were enormous iguanas on the resort property. And they would even run along the beach because people would feed them. But in order to get to the beach, when you would leave the hotel, they're there, right? And there's not just one of them, and they're big, and you have to walk around them. And, part of me thinks today, I wasn't thinking it then, but these creatures, whatever creatures they are, they lived here before we started doing what we're doing. I'm not saying those specific ones, but we continue to build and take over things where there are habitants. They've been living there. That's where they live. And so where do we want them to go?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's actually their home territory that we take over. And so just thinking about it in human terms, right? How upset we get when somebody else comes and invade your land or your property. How's that animal supposed to feel? It's his house. It's where he lived. It's where he knows how to get food. And now all of a sudden, because we decided we want to build something, they need to relocate themselves. Something interesting, speaking of relocations in that way, something very interesting that happened during COVID was because we didn't have people outdoors everywhere anymore. There was a lot more animals that moved closer to the cities and town perimeters. Even on, I think it was in South Africa that I saw quite a few videos of beaches where you had loads and loads of different sea birds and sea life in general coming back into those spaces because guess what? The humans weren't using it, and they were able to. So it's always good to understand the impact and the ecosystems that we are within and working within. And I remember when we spoke about last time visiting Australia and snakes, they are territorial, right? So they have a range, they have a space in which they typically operate that is safe for them to operate within because they don't have any other snakes that uses that space as their home, and there's enough food for them to eat in that space. And of course, if they go into each other's homes, then they get very upset with one another, and sometimes very upset with us if we are in a space that not supposed to be in, or that's intersecting with these.
It's so true. So I think one thing we can leave people with about that is when you are visiting other places, let's be cognizant and respectful of the people who live there, right? It's their native land, so to speak, and also the creatures that live there, because that's both of them are part of what makes that place unique. Instead of we as tourists or travelers come in and we want to change everything, it's like, no, this is the way it's supposed to be here. We're guests in this country, in this city, or wherever it might be.
Yeah, and on this planet.
That's right.
We are guests on this planet too.
That's right. Because we could be going to space one day. I know I'm not going to be doing that. That could be another show. But we're actually out of time again. So it goes by. It just seems like it just started. And we need to let people know where and how they can reach you.
So if you are a leader or aspiring leader wanting to step into leadership, or you are already within your leadership space and you want to step up in your leadership, you can get a hold of me. Of course, if you know of anybody within that space and you think that they might benefit with some assistance within their leadership space as well, they can also contact me, or you can contact me and we can see how to work with them. You can do so via my LinkedIn. So you can see my LinkedIn page there on the side. send me a direct message, nice and easy on that platform. Or alternatively, you can also find me on my website, which is journey2discover.com. And that is also where you can email me. So my email address is Mariska, Mariska, at journey, journey, 2, discover, discover.com. And that is how you can get hold of me. So either via my email address, Mariska at journey2discover.com, my website, or LinkedIn. There you go. Whole bunch of different places where you can get me.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mariska, and thank you to E360 TV and to all of our loyal fans across the world. We truly do appreciate you. Woman's Prerogative signing off. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for being with us. And if you haven't done so yet, please do go and subscribe. All you have to do is hold your device up to this QR code, and it'll take you directly to our YouTube channel, and you can just subscribe. We'd love to have you. All right, we're signing off for now, and let's say hello to our sponsors. We're going to hear from one of our very own team members, Kimberly Schaefer. She is the show host of the Persistence Payoff Show, and she invented something called Ring Thing. Let's take a look and a listen. Bye for now. USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award, proudly presents Just the Thing for Your Ring. Introducing the patented Ring Thing. Your premium personal ring holder to keep your ring safe, nearby, and avoid loss.
The Ring Thing just got smarter. Add your logo and an NFC tag that opens to your website with one tap. Waterproof, inner padding, and now a forever business card.
Just the thing for your ring. Scan the QR code seen here to learn more about Ring Thing or place your order. Follow Ring Thing on Instagram at ring_thing_ or go to our website, ringthing.com.
Conveniently located in the Cherry Hill Mall in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Avio Art specializes in custom art and photography printing. From museum-quality canvas prints and stretching to photo restoration, fine art reproduction, and framing with museum-grade glass, every service is completed in-house with exceptional attention to detail. Visit avioart.com or email support@avioart.com.
From the magical world of the amazing adventures of Lady Ella comes a heartwarming new journey filled with kindness, courage, and compassion. Lady Ella, the beloved ladybug and listening mentor, is back, and this time she's not alone. Meet her brave and thoughtful brother, Lord Jack. Together, they take flight on their very first kindness adventure. Along the way, they meet 3 new friends in need: a duck feeling discouraged, a mouse struggling to be understood, and a busy little bee who's completely lost. But with the power of elevated listening and simple acts of kindness, Lady Ella and Lord Jack show us how understanding and empathy can make the biggest difference in someone's day. Written by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the listening mentor. This 9th book in the best-selling Lady Ella series teaches children ages 5 to 10 the essential skills of listening, kindness, and etiquette. Now available for pre-order on Amazon. Scan the QR code and order your copy today.
Ever dreamed of hosting your own TV show, sharing your story with a global audience? Now's your chance to shine. At USA Global TV and Radio, we make it easy for you to create, host, and broadcast your very own TV show. Whether you're a storyteller, entrepreneur, or industry expert, we help you bring your vision to life. With our exclusive interview, live streaming, and podcasting training, you'll gain the skills and confidence to captivate your audience. Our global platform ensures your voice is heard worldwide. Join our community of creators who are already making an impact. one show at a time. Step into the spotlight. Host your own TV show on USA Global TV and Radio. Book your discovery call today at usaglobaltv.com. Copyright 2025 USA Global TV and Radio. All rights reserved. Terms and conditions apply. To learn more, visit usaglobaltv.com. Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting. We're building bridges and changing lives, one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.